So this is another thing I do a lot. I'm always just like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Like if you ask Mark, whenever he tells me something super exciting about like either Search Be More, which is another project that we work on together, usually I'm super excited, but I usually just respond with, hell yeah.
Even in text.
Yeah.
Even you just text hell yeah. What's up?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice cold beer here.
Yeah, and the reason for that is we're kind of celebrating.
We are celebrating today.
Because Mark retired.
Well, I'm not old enough to retire.
Well, you left your... Okay, so here's a little context.
Yeah.
Mark was a firefighter for Baltimore City for how long now?
11 and a half years.
And your last shift was yesterday.
Yesterday. I got off at 7 o'clock this morning. That was it. Never going back.
How did that feel?
It was a little sad at first.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll miss the guys. I enjoyed the job, and but moving on to a different career path, and it'll be nice to be home every night now and not miss holidays and birthday parties and stuff. But yeah, man, thank you for the beer.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
And if anybody's wondering, it is Flying Dog Raging Bitch. It's literally what it's called. Is it going to focus?
Oh,
it's not going to focus.
That's
okay, though.
Face tracking.
Face tracking autofocus.
Canon does face tracking so well.
It's so good. It's stupid good.
I literally shoved a beer in your face. And it picks up me. Look at that. That's ridiculous. Nobody does focus like Canon.
Exactly.
I'm putting that out there.
Yeah. Canon. Good job.
Good job. This is good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Raging Bitch.
Yeah, it's a Belgian IPA.
8.3.
8.3. I told you it was going to be a celebration.
Okay.
So.
Podcast number 2.
Yeah.
Thank you if you're a repeat listener. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for 1, listening again.
Yeah.
And for 2, for growing along with us as we build our YouTube channel and our podcast. Not a channel. Podcast. As we build our podcast.
Yeah.
And we get through the growing pains of podcasting, especially podcasting remotely.
Yeah, that was when you told me that that's something that we were going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. What was funny was I was trying to figure out how I was going to get audio, like actual decent audio for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking of just plugging it into my laptop. But my laptop is all USB-C, so I had to get like dongles and whatnot.
Right. So you're all USB-C.
All USB-C.
And no headphone jack or...
No, it does have a headphone jack. I could technically... First I tried plugging the microphone into the headphone jack. It wasn't working. Yeah. So I literally had to... Because Best Buy is all curbside, so I had to order it online.
You're right.
And my dumbass accidentally set 2 different pickup locations at 2 separate Best Buys.
That's awesome.
To go pick up one, a USB-C to 3.5 headphone jack adapter, and then the other one for the extension.
Yeah.
So I was out for like 45 minutes, drove to White Marsh, and then I had to drive to the one in Towson just to pick up 2 stupid little things.
And if you're not from Maryland, those locations are like a half an hour apart. 20 minutes.
20 minutes max.
But the Towson one is 3 minutes from my house, which is where you were coming to today.
Yeah.
So you were kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And then I couldn't get it to hook up. I couldn't get it to work. And I was just like, you know what? will just use my microphone on my laptop. And then I thought about it and I'm like, wait a minute. This big camera right here is literally like right here. I have this extension. So what I ended up doing, just plug the microphone into the camera, have it set up on a little tripod like this.
Yeah.
And that's how
sounded great. You sounded great.
It was decent audio. I was surprised.
You sounded great. I sounded like I was in a cavernous cave, a cavernous cavern.
Yeah. So Adobe Premiere has de-reverb. Like it's a special effect that you have that where you can put in your audio and it eliminates echo.
Right.
So that's basically what I had to do with Marc's audio.
Because I messed it all up. Okay. Downstairs in my house, there's like an office that my wife and I share for now that we're working from home more, right? So it used to be my recording studio. If you listen to the first one, David and I used to be in a band together, and I had a little studio set up. It was acoustically treated. Mm-hmm. And there's like a bulkhead where this is very interesting. There's like a bulkhead where some HVAC runs through the basement. But it's a finished room, and so I would hang like acoustic curtains to sort of break up the harsh angles.
Right.
And then my wife decided she wanted to come down and use the office also, and I'm blaming this on her. I'm just hoping she doesn't watch or listen.
She's probably going to watch and listen.
She's the one. And I love her very much. But she came down and she decided to take over half of my office. And the first thing that she wanted to do was make it more like an adult, I guess. Which meant taking down all of my acoustic foam treatment.
Oh,
and taking down the curtains that I had hanging from the ceiling to sort of buffer the sound. So used to be able to go in there and clap and it was totally dead. Mm-hmm. And now it sounds terrible. But I had a microphone and I had it too far away from me, and you had to do extra work to make my audio sound somewhat listenable. Otherwise, it was just a nightmare. So next time, I just move the microphone now. It's going to be right in my face, like a podcast. Exactly. It's going to be good. It's going to be much better.
I will say, though, I like doing podcasts when you're like right in front of me, because I'm not going to lie, if you watch the first video, like I kind of was having trouble where I should look. I'm like, do I look at the camera? Do I look at my laptop? Because all I'm seeing is sound waves.
Right.
So I was just like, with this, I can both look at the camera, but I can also look at you. Yeah. And this seems a little bit more natural.
It's way more natural.
Yeah. So
way more natural.
I like this a lot better, in my opinion. And this way we can have a beer together. We can talk about stuff.
I agree.
And plus the whole remote was cool, but there's just something about like actually sitting down with someone and having a podcast.
You lose the like the back and forth. You lose the conversation piece. I feel like, not that it was forced, and we probably could have set up like a Zoom call and just muted it so we could at least have seen each other.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool program. It's called Zencastr.
Yeah.
There's a free platform, but you can also pay for more storage if you want to. But we don't. We're not going to. It's something crazy. It's a crazy amount of space that you have to actually pay for. The rest of it's free. But you can invite guests. So if we ever have to remotely bring in a guest,
which we will do,
yes, we will use Zencastr. Check it out. It's a really cool platform, actually.
And we're not sponsored by them.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But
we don't have any sponsors.
Yeah, but that's why you should trust us, because no one's paying us to say like.
No one's paying us to say anything.
What is this again?
We're not even getting paid in general.
That's true.
Not saying that's a bad thing, because we're doing this because we love it. But that tells you we're being authentic.
Yeah, we try to be, and I think, whenever you have a YouTube channel or a podcast, goal number one should never be making money, because then, I think you get into maybe saying things just so that somebody can send you a free product, right? Like we both shoot on Canon, so it's easy for us to say like,
Canon's the best.
Canon's the best, because they are. That's why we picked them. And there are some benefits to having Sony. I haven't found any yet, I'm sure, but there might be some. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter what camera you use, but we both shoot on Canon. So when we say Canon's autofocus is the best, like that's one of the main reasons why we picked Canon for autofocus. Because if you vlog, Like I can, if you're watching this,
Yeah.
it stays right on your face. So I'm going to jump ahead. We do have some notes, but I'm going to jump ahead while we're on Canon.
Right. Speaking of which, segue.
We're both
not like the little stupid little thing on wheels.
I'm so glad those are done.
I'm so glad that died a long time ago.
I'm so glad those are done. I hate those little scooters too, but the Segways were the worst.
What were they? They're like hoverboards.
Yeah.
Like
my daughter wants one of those little hoverboards though. But I'm going to try to convince her to get a one wheel instead.
Yeah, just get a one wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a one wheel or a boosted board. Actually, no, boosted went out of business, unfortunately.
That's right.
Because of what happened.
Yeah. What's
been going on in the world.
It's so crazy. There's so many cool companies that are really struggling.
Yeah. But apparently not Canon.
Canon.
They announced a new camera.
Yeah.
That we don't know when it's getting released yet.
I have
we don't even know a price on the camera yet.
We don't, and I have the specs here, so forgive me if you're watching this and I'm looking at my screen. So, but it was just confirmed. This is April 20th. But I feel like maybe I'm on the wrong website here. Maybe these were the assumed specs, because I want to say this only got confirmed like a couple days ago, like where they just
this actually got announced like a little bit after lockdown started, because Matty Opoya actually made a video of like him watching the announcement.
Oh really?
And he was like, this is what we've been waiting for.
And he just that's funny, they all switched to that EOS R.
Yeah.
That everybody yelled at them all for.
Yeah, everyone got it. Why are people yelling at each other over camera stuff? I don't understand.
Dude, I don't know. Just pick whichever camera you like.
Just pick what you like, especially something you could afford. Because cameras are so good now, no matter what price range. Like even the TSI models are great.
Yeah,
they're like beginners.
Like some of the point and shoot models.
Yeah,
some of those have better 4K. Like I have the M50.
Mm-hmm.
It shoots 4K.
This camera doesn't even have 4K.
Right. What do you have? 60 Mark II.
Yeah, that's 60 Mark II.
It's not an entry-level camera.
Look at the price. No.
Like, come on. There should be 4K on it. But this one, the R5, shoots RAW in 8K, 30 frames per second.
8K.
They are future-proofing.
Yeah. And there's more to it. Like, there's no crop on the 8K. There's no crop on the 4K either. So it's using the whole entire sensor, which is a full frame.
Right.
Full width sensor. The dual pixel autofocus, which is great with Canon.
That's huge, because we were just talking about the M50 that I have. It's an entry-level mirrorless camera.
Yeah.
It's not the best. And I'm actually doing a review on it now, so it'll be a video coming out in a little bit. It's not the best camera out there, but that sounds worse than I meant for it to be. I think it's an awesome camera, especially if you're just getting started, right? So it's not going to be overly confusing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a point and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Canon menu system, but it's very, very basic.
Yeah.
What I don't like is the 4K is almost unusable because you lose that autofocus and the tracking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it switches from like the face tracking mode to searching for the object that has the most contrast in the image. So if you have something in your background, your face and the background are always fighting for focus when you're in 4K. Not to mention it crops in another whatever 1 point whatever times on top of the 1.6 times that the M50 already crops in. Right. Very technical stuff.
Yeah.
But
I hope we're not confusing anybody.
Yeah. Like just basically ignore all of that if you don't care about. But if you don't care about cameras, you're probably not listening to this.
Probably not.
But this has the full focus or the full frame sensor in 8K and 4K, and the autofocus, which is something that is crazy good to have.
And another thing I love is this. It's gonna already have the C-Log, which it will. We'll edit this video to show you. So right now we have like a color grade. Like we had to download C-Log on our cameras. And C-Log basically looks like this. Like there's no contrast, there's no saturation. It actually looks like garbage. And the reason we do that is because it gives us more room for color grading and whatnot.
Right.
But this camera's going to have it automatically.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be able to use the mirrorless lenses, like the RF lenses, and you can also use the EF lenses. So if you're already a Canon user, I think all you have to get is a little adapter, and you can still use your lenses, which is awesome. And I think, honestly, this is just like a tiny thing, and I'm just noticing it right here. The dual card slots.
You do love that. You talk about that all the time.
Dude, let's say you're shooting a wedding, sometimes you just need that extra room. Like there was the one wedding that I shot, I was running out of room on my card, so I had to export with my laptop and hard drive in the middle of the wedding, format the card, and then go back and shoot again. And that's a pain in the ass.
And that's terrifying because if something important happens and now your SD card's in your computer, you know.
It was my anxiety. I have like mild to moderate anxiety, but it was severe that day.
You know what I
weddings.
love? People can. I've got my computer up here. People can't see this, but there's this random picture of Bill Clinton on the Canon R5 specs page.
Interesting.
Right? I don't know why. This day in history.
I don't get it. But as of right now, there's like rumors on the price of the R5, but there's no official price from Canon. Like there's like one that's saying it's going to be around like $6,000, which doesn't make sense to me because the 1DX Mark III, which just came out not that long ago, is around that price range, and I don't even think it has the same specs as that camera.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not up to date on the 1DX Mark III. I saw the price tag and just shut the window because like
it's basically the 1DX.
Let's see.
Mark III by itself is like a $6,000 camera just for the body.
Yeah, $6,500 just for the
body. That's more than what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. But if you're using that, you're shooting like professional sports and whatnot.
Right. Like it's not really a vlogging camera. Like a lot of guys do use the 1DX to vlog, like the bigger guys, right? Like, I think that was
like Peter McKinnon
that was his
and like guys like that,
right?
But he switched to the R because like that thing is huge,
and it has that flip out screen, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that 1DX doesn't have a flip out screen.
Exactly.
Let me see if I can get the rumored price for this because I heard that it's going to come in under $4,000. That's what I heard. Yeah,
will cost less than $4,000,
which
is not.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's not cheap.
For the specs that this is saying that it's going to have, and now they're actually confirmed.
Yeah.
Like that, if that price tag said $6,000, people would be like, okay, yeah, sure.
Which, I mean, it's not going to be the camera for somebody that's just taking pictures of their kids.
Right.
And like, this is like, you're a professional.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking photos of sports, you're taking photos of weddings, you're making commercials, like you're doing a lot of video work.
Right. The R5, anything really, like going up I mean, if you're just taking pictures of your kids, it's funny because you haven't seen the video that I'm recording about the M50 yet, but I literally say that same thing.
Oh, really?
Like if you want to throw something in your pocket, spoiler alert, you should watch the video anyway because I'm not giving you all of it.
Right.
But throw it in your pocket with the kit lens on it, M50.
Mm-hmm.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
If this is probably even more, we're doing YouTube and you're a professional photographer. So like this would make more sense for you.
Yeah.
Going from your 60 to the R5 just because of the 4K capability by itself probably makes sense for video. But
especially since I'm trying to get into more like video work.
Right.
Because there's more money into video work.
That's true because nobody can do it well. Not a lot of people can.
Not a lot of people can do it well.
But even for me, and if you're brand new to this podcast, David is a professional photographer. You've shot large touring bands.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do a lot of weddings because they're kind of like that's very niche.
It's
niche.
I mean, niche? I think it's something that you should at least dabble into at least once. Yeah. But you also should be careful and be super professional about it because that's somebody's big day,
right?
And like everyone's gonna want photos of their big day, and you don't want to screw that up.
Can I plug somebody?
Absolutely.
You think? So I have a friend, and we should have her on the podcast.
We should. I know who you're gonna talk about.
Yeah. So her name is Naomi, and she runs Urban Row Photography here in Baltimore, and she specializes in weddings. And I I cannot tell you how, like, just the quality of work that she does is unbelievable. And the stress, like you were talking about, of taking pictures of somebody's wedding. If you miss one thing, that's all they will remember.
Yep.
You could have gotten the first kiss, the perfect sunset photo, XYZ and whatever, but you missed a photo with great Aunt Sally and your fifth cousin. And like, that's what they're going to remember.
Yeah.
So we'll have Naomi on the podcast, I think, because taking pictures at weddings is probably a whole different animal than what you do, like portraits and rock concerts, and what I do, which is really like, I'm trying to focus more on landscapes, learning landscapes, and then YouTube. So we should have her on, I think, at some point.
Absolutely.
But even for somebody like her, like, I'm not sure what camera she shoots, but the whole point of that story was like that R5 is probably out of it's not geared towards somebody like me.
Yeah.
Who's just starting and learning cameras. Like, it's enticing for sure, because I know I'm not going to have to upgrade in a year, but they're not marketing that camera to me. They're marketing it to you and to like my friend Naomi, who runs Urban Row Photography, and professionals and people on YouTube and vloggers and like big channels.
Yeah.
So I went on a bit of a ramble. I do that.
That's great.
I've had 4 sips of an 8.3% alcohol, and I ramble.
Hey, it's going to make great content.
We can move on.
We can talk about the one thing.
Oh, you're going to yell at me now.
I'm going to yell at you a little bit.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
During the whole lockdown, I've been watching a lot of movies. And one of the movies that I've been super obsessed with is this movie called The Florida Project. And it's
you're so mad.
I'm so mad because I have at least told you at least 5 times to watch that movie.
I mean, five times this week.
5, yeah. Well, also 5 times last week, 5 times the week before.
I know, but I just
what's happening?
Avoiding it. Okay.
Now you don't have another job to worry about.
That's true.
You have extra free time.
You would think. This is the first time in my adult life. I'm 34. I'm way old. 34. This is the first time in my adult life that I haven't had two jobs. So I should have more time.
You should. It's only an hour and some change.
I know. So here's the thing, right? So that's a scary picture.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I'm going to get rid of that. My wife, I feel like I'm blaming her on everything.
You're blaming your wife on a lot of stuff.
I love her so much. She is away this week visiting her parents and has the Netflix password saved on her computer. Like, it just auto logs in. Now, to be fair, she doesn't actually know what it is either. So if I called her and asked her for it, she wouldn't be able to tell me. It just auto logs in on her computer.
Right.
So this movie is...
I will literally give you my Netflix login.
But that's not fair because you just said that today.
I will literally give you my Netflix login.
Okay.
You have the extra time now.
Yeah. I'll watch it tonight. You give me your Netflix login. Give everybody your Netflix login.
I'm not going to give everybody my Netflix login.
Just me, then.
I'm just going to give him my Netflix login.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
See? Good callback.
Good callback.
Thank
you. So...
Why do you like this movie so much? Why are you on my case about it?
Because it's one of those movies... It's not like a straight cookie cutter movie. It's one of those things where I watched it because it was like critically acclaimed and whatnot. It was in the Sundance Film Festival, I think. Can you confirm that? Does it say so?
I'll look. It's got 7.6 stars out of 10. That's not bad for 85,967 votes on IMDb.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no point in me saying that. Go ahead. You're doing great.
But what's cool about this movie is that it's one of those movies that does a lot of showing you rather than telling you. And basically it follows like this group of kids, and basically it follows this group of kids, and they live in this motel in Florida. That part of Florida is super stricken with poverty, and it's also ironically right down the street from Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this, but the movie doesn't really have a plot, really, but stuff kind of happens.
See, so, okay, now, this is how he's explaining to me, saying watch it, right? It doesn't have a plot, which is, listen to me repeat your words to you. It doesn't have a plot. It doesn't really show you things, or it doesn't really tell you things.
Right.
You have to be fully engaged the entire time, which you've said a couple times. Like, don't watch it at night because you have to be paying attention.
Yeah.
So there's no plot. You have to be fully focused. It doesn't tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
But you've yelled at me for 2 weeks straight to watch it.
And the reason for that is because it gives you an insight of a different part of that area. So like, it kind of gives you insight on like the poverty stricken part of that area. Like they're literally living out of motel. The mom is super young. Like the mom was like 15 years old when she had the kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like eventually she starts like prostituting herself just so she can make ends meet, so she can take care of her kid and have a place to stay. And the ending is super sad. Like it just flat out saying that.
Yeah.
But it kind of, like, that's why I kind of say it doesn't have like a full-blown plot. And the reason I say that is because it's like it's giving you like an actual lens of that kind of lifestyle, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I will watch it. Because one of the other things that you had mentioned that is, again, because I'm new to this realm of filmmaking and in general, but you know, the way that it's shot is it teaches you different angles, or it gives you a lesson in storytelling that I think can be translated to, you know, my personal filmmaking. It's not just maybe the easiest shot is not the right shot all the time.
Right.
Or the easiest story is not the right story all the time.
Or like sometimes you don't have to have a sequence with 5 angles.
Right.
Like literally a sequence. Some of the sequences are just wide shots.
Right.
From going point A to point B. And I think what's cool about this movie is that the only big actor is Willem Dafoe. And he plays the motel manager. And what's cool is like, and this is kind of why I'm so obsessed with this movie, the motel that they used in the movie is an actual motel.
Right.
With actual people who live there that live in that kind of poverty. And Willem Dafoe's character is the manager of this motel. And he literally had to talk to the actual motel manager and ask him, so what do you have? And he basically, the manager of this motel, sometimes has to take care of these people. Like sometimes if the power goes out, he has to figure that out.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has to kick people out. And the scariest part of his job is like, and this is actually shown in the movie, sometimes he has to look out for the kids.
Jeez.
Because sometimes some pedophile is walking over and talking to these kids, and he has to go over and be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, get
out of here. And like I was reading like a film analysis about this movie, and it said that Willem Dafoe asked the manager of this actual motel, and he's just like, yeah, sometimes I have to do that because sometimes the parents aren't around.
Wow. I mean, I was joking obviously about like the way you were describing it, but you do seem really passionate about this movie. So I mean, I just need your Netflix password.
I will send you my Netflix password.
And I'll watch it.
And what's cool is that this movie was shot on 35 millimeter film.
Yeah.
Like it, and then the very end, which by the way, the ending is very abrupt and it completely changes the mood. And it was also shot on an iPhone 6S.
The 6.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it was like, what was this made?
2017. It could have been around the time where the 10 came out, but they used an iPhone 6.
Wow.
Dude, I loved Willem Dafoe's character. Like, he shows a lot of variety in his character. He's like a very stern manager, and he's not going to put up with your bullshit, but like, he shows that, like, you know, he cares about some of the people that live there.
Yeah, I've got it up on Vox as you're talking. I'm kind of just reading about it.
And the kids are awesome. Like, the kids are so good in this movie. And
it does sound really good, to be honest.
The girl that plays the mom is like just a random Instagram model that just happened to look the part, and she only took a couple of acting lessons, and she was great.
Well, you know what? And you had mentioned this to me before, and I didn't know this, but what I think is really cool about Willem Dafoe is, like, if he likes the project...
Yeah.
He doesn't really care about who's in it.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't care about, this is your first movie? Oh, great. Like I'll do it, sure. And I'm sure he didn't get paid a ton of money for this if he took anything.
Right.
Right? I mean, if it's, you know, I'm looking at...
Let's see
if I can find the budget.
What's funny, I've watched a couple of interviews of, like, the whole cast with Willem Dafoe, and, like, the kids are just like, yeah, I know this guy because he played Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're saying it as he's sitting next to them, and he just goes to the kids and he goes, you and everyone else.
And I know him from Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
That was really my first... well,
it's... I know him from Spider-Man because when that movie came out, I was like 6 years old.
Well, it's because you're so young.
Yeah. In case anybody doesn't know, there's not a huge age gap.
I appreciate that.
You're 34.
Yeah.
And I turned 25 not that long ago.
Right.
So it's like 9 years.
That would be the math. Thanks for telling everybody.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My hairline gave it away, I think.
You have more than a hairline than me. I don't even want to hear it.
So... Let's skip hairlines because I feel like it's a sensitive subject for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
$2 million for that movie, which is not really anything.
That's not a lot.
No. And when you consider Willem Dafoe's, that's probably his pull on most movies anyway. Like, he probably makes at least that. Let's see what he got paid in Boondock Saints. We're way going deep in this Florida project.
This is great.
I know you like it. I will watch it. I promise I will watch it. As soon as you give me your password.
I might have to reset my password.
Because you don't know what it is. Nobody knows what their Netflix password is.
Well, that's because, like, with iCloud keychain, I can literally just do Touch ID and my password just goes in.
I know.
You don't have to remember your password anymore.
I know. That's what I've been telling you.
I don't do that. Write down your passwords. Don't be like me.
You can be like me and use the same one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got different ones, but... But that's why I don't know it. It's saved. But it's saved on my wife's computer. Again, it's her fault.
Your wife is going to give you so much shit.
We need to move on to a different topic before I keep blaming. Let's see.
Let's see how much he made for that movie.
For what? Florida Project?
Yeah. Well, like, we can even pull up Spider-Man or, like, Boondock Saints.
I bet a day of shooting in Spider-Man cost what this whole Florida Project movie costs. Like, one of the big CGI scenes probably cost $2 million.
Not only that, he had to get, like, suited up in that green suit, which you know for a fact was not comfortable at all.
Mm-mm. No way. I can't find it. I don't know. William Dafoe salary?
Yeah?
Is that what you think?
I think.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I have seen this Spider-Man. Well, his net worth is $30 million. Do we care about that?
I mean,
he
might.
Probably does.
He definitely does.
I can't find it. But when this video goes up on YouTube,
someone's going to point it out in the comments.
Yeah, I'll post it in the description.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
but you know he probably did not make nearly enough money
which
off
I think
the
is
Florida project.
It's really cool. It says a lot about him, and it's, you hear a lot of people talk about, you know, they do it for the art, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure most of them actually mean it. But until you see a guy in a movie like this where the whole budget was like less than probably what he makes for a cameo.
Yeah.
that says a lot about who he is as an
Yeah.
actor, as a person.
I watch him in interviews. He just seems like a cool dude to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to sit down and talk with him.
Do you know what's funny? Do you know who Dennis Leary is? You heard Dennis Leary?
Oh boy.
That's
Comment
okay.
section is going to kill me.
That's okay. No, it's okay. So, I mean, he's in a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most famously, Operation Dumbo Drop. And he'll tell you that's his favorite thing that he's known for, Operation Dumbo. But he was in Rescue Me, which is the FX show about the FDNY.
Oh, yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff. Like, he's a stand-up comedian. I have his book, Why We Suck, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets confused for a Willem Dafoe all the time because they kind of look the same.
Do they really?
Wow. I mean, so
yeah.
See, it's funny because he tells a story in his book where he was out and somebody came. He's obviously super famous.
Yeah.
But he was out and somebody came up to him and asked him for his autograph and called him Willem Dafoe, and he didn't have the heart to tell them that they were wrong.
Oh,
so
wow.
he just signed it as Willem Dafoe and then kept going. But yeah, so I don't know why I went into that. But anytime I see Willem Dafoe, I think, oh, Dennis Leary. It's
yeah,
funny.
he looks. They look exactly the same.
It's funny.
That's so weird. Willem Dafoe just did not age after Spider-Man. I feel like he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's hysterical.
By the way, Willem, if you're listening, you look good, my dude.
We appreciate you, man.
Keep doing good work.
I will watch the Florida Project. I promise.
I will make you watch it as soon as I send you that password.
Okay. Well, you'll be able to see because I'll be logged in as you. You'll be able to see if I'm Florida.
It's probably going to pop up saying someone's logging in with your stuff. And
yeah,
I'm like,
and then it's gonna cancel the password, and it's
right,
like you're gonna have to reset everything. Oh man.
So
I will watch it. I promise. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if no one's seen the Florida Project, dude, let's be real about this. No one's really heard about it.
Right.
We just spent 20 minutes talking about a movie that no one's heard of.
But they could.
But now they should watch it
because it's on Netflix.
You should
watch it.
And what else are you doing? Everybody's still quarantined.
Yeah. I mean,
things are opening up, but
you still got some free time. Just like it's only like an hour and
let's watch it.
20 minutes or so. It's a good movie.
I will watch it. We're going to go down to Emerald Isle, North Carolina, which is like a beach town in.
Okay.
It's not the Outer Banks, but it's like around there.
Mm-hmm.
And I need a bunch of movies to watch when I'm down. They have it's like it's not the best like AV setup.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm always watching movies and stuff on my like laptop down there.
Right.
So I need some good Netflix movies.
Dude, I'll make you a list. I've been watching so many movies. Like I've watched a lot of Tarantino stuff.
Yeah.
I've watched like some one-offs here and there.
Make me a list. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
You're a filmmaker now, dude.
Well,
you got to get
in
familiar.
training. In training.
And the best way to train is to watch movies.
To watch.
Yeah.
But I was thinking this is like it's kind of a forced segue.
Yeah.
But I need something to watch movies on, and I was thinking about buying that iPad Pro.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should do it. I'm like debating about it.
Yeah, what's cool about the iPad Pro, it's getting really close to laptop. Like,
yeah, that's why
it's getting close to being a laptop.
That's what I like about. I love the idea of pairing it with the pencil.
Yeah.
For like photo editing and stuff like that, and just I feel like it's more precise than using your finger to click and drag on a timeline in Premiere Pro or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been talking myself out of it because I have a laptop.
Yeah.
I have a MacBook Pro. Like, why do I need an iPad? But then and I think that was true up until maybe 2018.
Yeah.
And then I just avoided buying the iPad in 2018 because my big fear is like as soon as I buy it, they're just going to come out with a better one. And I think, there's an argument to be made that like if you have the 18, maybe don't buy the 20. It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah. It looks it's pretty similar. I think the chip's a little bit better.
As we're talking about this, my computer
Your
freezes.
computer slows. Yeah, just close it.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
But I think the chip's a little bit better. You do have 2 camera lenses on the iPad, which you can do portrait mode on the iPad, which I think is pretty cool if you want to do something like that.
I would never use the iPad to take a picture.
Yeah, it just looks. I just
massive.
feel like it looks strange. Like you're holding this massive tablet,
and
like
you have
this.
your phone in your back pocket. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Come on.
Most likely, well, I know there's a lot of Android users that prefer iPads.
I was gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna.
Don't make a joke.
I can't. I won't.
We don't do smartphone discrimination.
That's true.
If you like Android, cool. If you like iPhone,
David,
cool.
if you keep watching our videos, you will realize how often David has to.
How often I have to be a PR person because Mark says something dumb.
and I don't mean to take this over because you're right, but I do say a lot of dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a Windows user, and then I got an iPhone, and then you're in their ecosystem because you can't have an iPhone and an Android tablet because they don't talk to each other, so you need an iPad.
Yeah.
And then you can't have Sony headphones because they don't auto pair to your iPhone, so you need to get the AirPods.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've got everything Apple.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know how to use an Android, which is why I think I joke about it because I'm scared because I don't know how to use it.
It's a very complex. Well, maybe it's really not that complex because I've only probably used Android maybe like twice in my life because a lot of my friends use Android.
Yeah.
But like I'm just so comfortable with iOS.
Yeah.
And plus it works and I'm happy with it.
Great.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's like, you're most likely to keep that phone for like 3 to 4 years. So
I was talking about it with somebody earlier today, actually, about, you spend $1,200 on the iPhone, but you can skip, if you want to, you can skip 2 or 3 upgrades before you buy another one.
Exactly.
And you really don't lose a ton of performance. Like I have the 10, the 10XS Max, which is really hard to say.
10X Max.
10X Max. I don't even know.
10S Max.
What one of I don't know. X. Whatever. I've got that one. I didn't buy the 11. There's really I don't need that extra camera. It had the wide angle, right? The 11.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I would rather have a telephoto, to be honest. I think Apple should put a telephoto lens on there.
There is.
See?
There is one.
On the 12, on the 11?
There's one on your 10S Max.
No, I mean like a real one though.
So you mean like a macro lens?
Yeah.
So like 100mm lens.
I think I would find that more useful than a wide angle on my iPhone.
See, I want the wide angle because I love shooting super wide. Like especially like when it comes to like landscapes. Like usually if I'm like traveling, I've gotten to the point where I'm so tired of carrying around a big camera all over. I just want to pull out the iPhone and just snap a quick pic.
And we talk about this a lot, and I feel like every time we talk about cameras, you always bring up how good the iPhone camera is. Yeah,
because a lot of people say they want to get into photography or videography. They're like, "Oh, but I can't afford a good camera." Yeah. And then they pull out an iPhone like this.
Right.
And I'm just like,
there it is.
It's right in your hand.
Yeah.
Just use it. And there's like so many like different ways you can use that camera. And there's like little tips and tricks. It's just, I feel like a lot of people just don't take the time to learn it.
Right.
It's like you have the technology in your pocket right now, but you're not taking the time to learn it.
Right.
Like that's just such a lame excuse.
Well, it's like when we went out a couple weeks ago and shot that intro sequence to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Be creative, think creative. As we were done, like the sunset was really cool over the inner harbor. And I forget what I was doing, but you took a picture of me without me knowing with your iPhone.
Yeah. And
you showed it to me and it had like that perfect blurry background and like I was in focus, but everything else was sort of disappearing into the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never experimented really with portrait mode. And you're like, come on, man. Like all you got to do is flip it into portrait mode. And this is what happened. But like, it goes exactly what you were saying. Like I never took the time to learn how to use that iPhone really as a good camera, because to me, that's not what I used it for.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to have it to take a picture of my daughter, or like when we were going out, maybe take a family video. But, I've always had like a dedicated camera. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to go out and take pictures, I have my phone in my pocket, but that's my phone. And then I have my M50.
Mm-hmm.
But like learning from you and diving more into this stuff, it really is like, unless you're doing something super specific where you really need a dedicated camera,
Mm-hmm.
just pull your phone out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes that's, I mean, there was literally a movie called Unsane, all shot on an iPhone 7 Plus.
yeah.
And it, like,
The 7,
yeah.
not like a new one.
No.
The 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, back to the iPad. It's getting pretty close to being like a laptop. Like, at first when they were trying to like go that route,
Yeah.
it was like, but then when iPad OS came out, then it was like, okay, it's
Right.
getting close.
Right.
But it kind of depends on the user. Like, I'm a laptop person. I just like having a dedicated keyboard, flipping it over. I used to have an HP laptop with a touchscreen. I maybe used that touchscreen at least like 3 times.
Yeah.
I just like sitting at a coffee shop with my laptop and going from there.
So that's my biggest drawback to not spending. It's a lot of money
It is.
for the iPad Pro, especially if you add like the new Magic Keyboard that came out for the 12.9. It's like $399.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And then you throw the pencil on there. Version 2 is like $129, maybe more, somewhere around there. But if you upgrade from the basic iPad, and we do a lot of photo editing and a lot of video editing, which takes a lot. It draws a lot of let's say power for layman's terms, right? From your computer or your iPad, it takes a lot out of it. So you would almost have to upgrade. You can't really just buy the basic model for video editing anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just like making like really basic videos.
Yeah, right.
Like if you're not color grading, if you're not
Right.
like adding sound design, you could use iMovie on the iPad just fine. But if you're doing stuff like this, I mean,
it's pretty intense. And Premiere Pro even says like you need at least 16. I think it was 16.
16?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think. I could be wrong. You think it's 8?
From what I read, you need at least
I think
8
you're right.
gigs of RAM.
You need 8 gigs, but they recommend 16 is what it is. So like if you're doing this and you're cranking out, like we're doing a podcast and a video each week, so it's 8 videos per month.
Right.
You can't have each video take 5 hours because you'll never be done.
Yeah.
So you need at least 16 gigs on your iPad if you're going to edit not from your workstation at home. And that bumps the cost of that iPad up. And then, you got to get the keyboard.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a computer, which you talked about.
Like in the commercial.
Right.
It's a computer.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What's a computer?
So, but my biggest fear is, and I said this before, like, and I just heard a rumor like the other day. I'm way behind on it, I think, but on YouTube, one of the Apple like spoiler channels, right?
Right.
Heard or said that they're thinking that Apple's going to release an iPad Pro in Q4 2020. And this is all speculation, so nobody knows.
No one knows.
But that's geared more towards photo and video editors. So I want to buy one. But right now, if you're listening to this in the future, it's May. Q4 starts in September?
Somewhere around there.
Like I can wait the few months.
Yeah.
And if they don't release it, then I'll just get the
get the one with
but
the
I do
lighters.
want one. I really want one. I think it'd be awesome.
I would love one just so I just have like another device in case I can't use my laptop for whatever reason. Or like since I'm a student, I'm graduating in December, but it depends if I go to grad school or not.
Right.
I would love to like export a video on my laptop and then do something on an iPad for school.
Yeah.
But again, that depends if I go to grad school or not. And I'm just afraid of getting it and then not using it.
I think that's
because it's a lot of money.
That's the biggest fear whenever you start diving into researching. Is an iPad worth it?
Yeah.
Like, well, do you have a laptop? Yeah. Well, then maybe it's not. But I don't know. I don't know.
I do like with Mac OS Catalina, you can use if you have an iPad, and I think it's iPad Air to iPad Pro. You can use this thing called Sidecar.
Yeah.
Where you could use your iPad as like a secondary monitor for your Mac.
Right.
Like, let's say you're editing a photo in Photoshop and you're doing like skin retouches. You can actually do the skin retouch on your iPad and you can see it on your Mac.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. And I think that's something I would use. But that's still a lot of money.
For a second screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the way that I just know me, I've been around me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I like at the minute I start thinking like, okay, I want this. Like I know I'm gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think about wanting something, and then like if it's within reach, like I would love like maybe a nice Tesla, but like I can't afford that.
Right.
But like if it's within reach, I know that I'm gonna get it. My biggest fear is like as soon as I buy it, the next day they're gonna come out with something awesome.
Yeah. It's really hard to like predict that.
Yeah.
Almost. Like there's always a September event, but that's getting pushed back because of what's going on in the world right now.
Right. We'll have to see. I mean
that's all we can do at this point. But what we have right now, we're able to make do.
Totally. I mean, you have with the MacBook Pro,
Mm-hmm.
right? From what year?
It's the 2019 version.
Okay. So it's like 2 years old.
Not
it's
even
basically
2 years
outdated.
old. It's like a year old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in technology terms.
In technology terms, yeah. It still has the butterfly keyboard mechanism.
Which is like everybody...
I
know you gotta be careful if you're Apple fans.
Well, it depends on who you ask. There's some days where I don't mind it if I'm just video editing. It's just I'll clack. It's a very clacky keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And for video editing, it's fine. But if I'm writing a paper, that's when I start to struggle a little bit. I kind of wish I had that new Magic Keyboard because I tried it out maybe 2 months ago, and the typing experience is a lot better. And it's quieter too.
And that trackpad, I think, is really cool too.
Well, I think the trackpad from the 2019 version and the 2020 version is the same, but I think Apple comes out with the best trackpads.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, we went heavy into Apple right there.
We really did.
We do appreciate Android people too. This isn't an Apple thing.
No, we're not. Android comes out with really good stuff. It's just for us, we just prefer iOS. And Windows comes out with really good stuff too. And I think sometimes, I think Windows does things a little bit better than Apple. Like for example, for whatever reason, a lot of the Windows laptops still have an SD card reader.
Whoa!
Apple,
calm down.
Why?
You're so mad.
I am so mad.
So I've got an old MacBook Pro. It's like 2015, right? But it has USB ports and Lightning, and it's got the old charger. And an SD card reader on the side, right there.
Yeah.
And an HDMI port.
And an HDMI port.
And you have USB-C.
Yeah, nothing but USB-C.
So you just dongle lifing.
I am dongle lifing.
Yeah.
And if there's a day where I just forget my dongle and I'm just like, oh, I want to edit videos, can't find my dongle.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Apple.
Here comes the emotional plea.
The next version of the MacBook Pro, can you please put the SD card reader back in the side? You made the latest version a little bit thicker. You can put the SD card slot right there.
It literally can't cost you more. You're removing parts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm joking, but it can't cost that much.
It can't. Well, I don't know. I'm not a economics major.
That would be, yep, you're not.
Definitely
What
not.
is your major?
Communications.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm communicating.
Jeez.
I'm communicating to you, Apple. Please put the SD card slot back into the MacBook Pro. You're probably not going to do it, but I'm asking you very nicely, very, very nicely to just put it back in. It's just going to make my life a lot easier.
He is being nice.
I'm being very nice. I'm being much nicer to you than I am to him.
That's true. This was fun.
This was great.
We got into
one IPA and we have an hour-long podcast.
That's okay. I mean, it's a little... I'm done, though.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you're... But that was good. Thank you for bringing the beer. Thank
Absolutely.
You for
Thank you for your service
in
the fire department.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It was a fun 11 and a half years. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy. The biggest thing is I'm happy to be home. I see my family every day, which is like, that's it. You know?
Yeah.
That was sappy. Sappy ending.
Super sappy.
Give me your code so I can watch the Florida Project.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you. Actually, I could probably...
Can you airdrop it?
Maybe. Oh, Peter McKinnon just released a new video.
We got to watch it.
Peter
McKinnon. We're watching it.
We're watching your new video.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please do.
Be creative, think creative. Subscribe to the podcast. We're everywhere. This was a longer one.
This was a longer one.
Sometimes
but this was fun.
Yeah. Sometimes they're going to be techie. Sometimes they're going to be just us kind of BSing back and forth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes David's going to force feed me 8.3% alcohol, and then we ramble. But that's it.
But hopefully you found some kind of entertainment out of this. Because I feel like the last one was kind of just like introducing ourselves. That was very formal. Now we're just like, we're a little tipsy and we're going to talk a little bit.
It's funny because we only had one beer.
I know. This is bad. This is real bad.
See ya.
Take it easy.